Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Previously, we began the penultimate case. So, Professor Mikotoba and Judge Jigoku have arrived in Britain for the big science symposium. And they checked into this really fancy hotel, which I'm downright convinced there's going to be a murder there at some point. And meanwhile, Herlock Sholmes tried to infiltrate an exclusive society of redheads that pays you a lot of money just for joining. So, still kind of tranquil at the moment, no crimes going on. Just a whole lot of mysteries. I think we're about to go check out the Lord High Chair Justice Seats place. Yeah, nailed it. We're gonna ask him if we can find, what's his name? Kazuma. Yes, Kazuma. Well, there's two familiar faces. Yeah, I'm still betting that Kazuma's whereabouts are unknown at the moment. Here's the final draft of the opening address for tomorrow's proceedings. I've supplemented your original with the figures you asked for from the yard. I see. Excellent work. Thank you. You're welcome, my lord. What's Lord Van Zeek's doing here? I mean, this is a perfectly normal place for him to be.
My, there seems to be an awful lot of tension in the air, wouldn't you say?
This place is stifling enough as it is. We really don't need any more tension. My apologies. I didn't notice you come in. Your small stature and dark dress make you all but invisible to me.
Oh, no, it's entirely my fault for wearing black, I'm sure. From now on, you must dress in white from head to toe whenever you come here.
That's a bit extreme. Now then, Mr. Naruhodo.
Yes, my lord, I'm right here.
Ugh, kill me now. Is something wrong? Perhaps it's a little too hot in here for you.
Oh, no, not at all. I mean, I've never experienced a room at such a perfect temperature.
If you're sure. The beads of sweat carving their way down your face seem to suggest otherwise.
Because of the daggers you're staring at me with, mainly.
As you're no doubt aware, my International Forensic Science Symposium begins tomorrow. In fact, your father arrived in London earlier today, I hear, madame.
Oh, yes, that's right, my lord. He's extremely honored to have been invited.
I'll leave the remaining preparations for the meeting room in your capable hands then, Lord Van Zeeks.
I will attend at once.
What was that look for?
He gave you a very cold stare as he left, didn't he?
I know, but I haven't done anything, have I? These past few days, my feet have barely touched the ground, I must say. My dedicated right hand of many years was recently put out of action in spectacular fashion.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Is your left hand still of service? Mr. Naruhodo, he's talking about Dr. Scythe.
Oh, of course.
I'm terribly sorry about that. I was just,
Fear not. You've done nothing wrong. Dr. Scythe's own wrongdoing precipitated the situation. You needn't concern yourself with it any further.
That would be a lot easier to do if it weren't for the piercing stare you're giving me.
Lord Van Zeeks is doing an admirable job of holding the fort. Though disturbingly, his apprentice has been missing since yesterday.
Oh, just yesterday. Interesting. Oh, missing? What's become of Kazuma-sama now?
Huh. Hey, get a load of this.
Could I show you this, Lord Strongheart?
I'm the Lord Chief Justice. I'm not here to offer advice about evidence.
Oh.
Especially when the evidence in question is so dull.
So that's the real reason.
Maybe there's something else we can show him later. Anyway, look, I've already given this room the full once-over, like, 5 times, 6. I don't need to do it again, I just don't. Not long ago, visitor numbers to the Great Exhibition exceeded 30 million.
30 million? Are there even that many people in the world? As a comparison, Mr. Naruhodo, the population of the imperial capital Tokyo is 2 million.
I will be opening the International Forensic Science Symposium in the exhibition's main auditorium. This event has been 2 years in the making. 2 years of preparations and negotiations with other countries.
It sounds like a tremendous achievement. Congratulations.
The 20th century will see the wholesale adoption of forensic investigation techniques. And cooperation between policing organizations around the globe will be essential. Which is why this landmark first symposium had to be hosted here at the heart of our great British Empire, in order that Scotland Yard can become the leading investigative organization in the New World.
He's the same as ever, I see. That passion of his is quite something. You're every bit as passionate in your own way, I'm sure, Mr. Naruhodo.
I'm the only person in this country who truly cares about a future that embraces forensic science. It was my intention to become Her Majesty's Attorney General and reform the Yard from the ground up. So the disgrace of the forensic investigation team has been a bitter blow to my ambitions.
Well... Whoops.
I first established the forensic investigation team a year ago, experimentally to start with. With Dr. Scythe at the helm, it was steadily accruing an impressive record of achievement. I was on the verge of changing its name and elevating its status to a full-blown forensic investigation department.
And can you not do that now?
Obviously, nobody wants to hear anything about it at the moment. Even I can't keep this story out of the papers. 6 million Londoners will be cursing forensic science now. This incident will set back our country's advancement in the field by a good 10 years, I'd say.
Unintended repercussions of our trial. We simply couldn't have overlooked what had happened, though.
Of course not. We should all be grateful to you both. Anyway, I'll still reform this country's policing when I become Attorney General. This might delay my plans, but it won't alter them. Nothing will stand in my way.
Well, good for you. About Lord Van Zeeks' apprentice.
Yes, that came as a surprise to me, I must say, that you and he are old friends.
How did he become an apprentice to Lord Van Zeeks in the first place?
It came about 3 months ago. An unidentified Asian man was apprehended by a border police.
Oh.
They found him hiding aboard a large goods vessel.
Oh my, so he stowed away to get here.
Huh.
Amnesiac, but nevertheless called to London.
He had no papers to identify him, no passport, and he was suffering from amnesia too. Other than the fact he was clearly of Eastern descent, there were no clues as to who he was. So I decided to assign him to Lord Van Zeeks. That way I could keep an eye on him.
Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. What a horrible lie. Like,
Why would someone as important as him, who was pulled in 1,000 different directions, who literally counts the seconds of his day, want to randomly decide to keep a close personal eye on some no-name, unknown foreigner who just tried to cross the border? You knew Kazuma by sight immediately. Don't pretend you didn't. But then, why the mask? I didn't want to burden Lord Van Zieks with tiresome explanations about why he had an Eastern apprentice. Because it would be so much easier to explain why he was wearing a mask? He's proving to be a great help to Lord Van Zieks. I have high hopes for his future. By the way, do you know where he's gone? No idea, but I believe he's left London for the time being. Oh. I take it you also didn't know that the man's father was one of our country's most infamous criminals, I mean. Genshin Asogi. Well, as long as you're willing to talk about him. What we learned from that trial 8 days ago was a huge shock. Finding out my friend's father was... yes, Genshin Asogi. The professor case 10 years ago caused a great stir here in Britain. They were such awful murders, and unprecedented, using a ferocious dog as a murder weapon. And no one would have believed the culprit was a foreign student invited to study here by the government. So the true identity of the killer couldn't be made public then, and can't be made public now. Nobody in our country knows it was him, and neither do the citizens of London. The main motivation was to avoid aggravating relations between our two nations at the time, I understand. Correct. However, it has to be noted that there were some supporters of the professor's apparent cause. What? Supporters of a mass murderer? The majority of the man's victims were a blight on the aristocracy of the day. Somewhat ironically, their deaths actually benefited society as a whole. Or so a fair few thinkers in London believed, anyway. Right, I see. But it was still murder, wasn't it? It seems very similar, doesn't it? To the idea of the Reaper of the Bailey. Huh. Okay, well, we finished talking to him, but... no automatic scene change or dialogue or anything? Anything for this paper? No. Well, that's a clear indication that I should come back here later. How interesting. Alright. To Waterloo? Oh. Really? I definitely looked at everything here. Nothing's changed or amiss? Uh-oh. I'm actually missing something. The consultancy? No. Okay, I missed something either with Sholmes or with Stronhart. I guess I'll look around this room. But, what? No, surely I'm not missing something here. Just sitting behind that desk must make you feel so important, don't you think? Would you like to have an office like this, Mr. Naruhodo? With such a grand desk? Who, me? No, I don't think so. Oh? Well, imagine if you suddenly found yourself needing the toilet. You'd have so far to go. Yeah, we've seen that.
How true. Perhaps the important people who work in ostentatious offices like this haven't considered such things.
I'm going to take that as a compliment. How interesting. What the hell did I miss? Maybe I can talk to Iris? Oh! What? Really? I'm just supposed to wander out there without being dismissed by Strongheart? Okay. Aha! Here is my guest now, my latest client, with money to spend.
Oh, I do hope it's an exciting case, Hurley.
Remember, Iris, we are at present gripped by the greatest problem known to man. I must be willing to accept any case, no matter how unstimulating. Save locating a runaway, of course. Don't spare anyone's feelings, will you?
Oh dear, I'm afraid that Hurley can lack a little tact, especially just before the rent is due.
Thwack? Oh, you're the juror number 2 from the previous case.
Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Herlock Sholmes, please, oh please. Please find my husband, he's run away.
Run away. To upset me?
I beg your pardon?
Never mind. A personal matter. My apologies. What exactly are you trying to say, Mr. Naruhodo? I didn't say a word. Come, my dear madame, be seated. Iris, some tea, if you please.
Of course.
Huh. What's the matter, Miss Susato? Yeah, suddenly something just clicked in place. The lady who just barged in, the former jury member, she is very clearly an aristocrat. And you're telling me her husband, who is presumably also a rich, noble-blooded aristocrat, has gone missing one day after Kazuma himself went missing. The same Kazuma who, I am strongly theorizing, is here to finish his father's mission. Oh no.
Oh, it's just that gentlewoman. I feel sure I've seen her somewhere before. Very recently.
Yes, now you come to mention it.
Evie. As I explained earlier, my name is Evie Vigil. I implore you to take the case, sir. Money is no object. Simply name your figure.
Money and wealth are of little consequence to me, madame. Huh? Being offered a case to solve is reward enough.
Oh, Mr. Sholmes, you are the picture of benevolence.
I will of course make a mental note of your offer, however, for contingent reasons. I trust you will remember your words also.
If I might inquire, sir. This gentleman and lady would be...
Oh, me?
What I am about to tell you, I should like to communicate in the strictest confidence, you understand.
Ah, these are my friends. I assure you, you may say before this pair anything which you may say to me.
Ah, I see.
I can vouch for the gentleman personally. After all, he's hard of hearing. Why did I ever get my hopes up? Alright. What's the wait? Most importantly, Mrs. Vigil, would you mind casting your eyes over this?
Oh, my poor Daily. Where have you gone? What's become of you?
Daily Vigil. Uh-huh. Daily Vigil would make a cool name for a newspaper.
I'm afraid she's too worried about her husband to pay any attention, Mr. Naruhodo.
Either that or she just doesn't want to be bothered with me. Forgive me for asking, Mrs. Vigil, but have we met somewhere before? Quite recently, perhaps?
Oh, my!
Pshaw, my dear fellow, what is your intention? Clearly you have no ability to differentiate the facial features of the English. If you wish to invite the lady to tea, you must do so in a more gentlemanly fashion.
Is it possible that you're the nice young lawyer from that trial I attended last week?
Ah, I knew I recognized her.
To have a man's fate in the palm of one's hand. Oh gosh, oh golly, it sends shivers down my spine.
Yeah, that was like one of the first things she ever said, but they didn't really go anywhere with that. I didn't quite recognize her because she's acting so differently now.
It must be very difficult for you as a lawyer, being hard of hearing, I mean.
Well, he does say what a lot. Pardon?
Oh dear, I'm so sorry. Don't worry if you can't hear. It was frippery, really, nothing more.
Now look what you've started, Mr. Sholmes. Thank you very much. I believe it would be prudent for you to sit quietly in the corner. Yes. Tell us about your husband, madame.
Mr. Vigil, like Daly, is 40 years of age. I have a photograph here.
Well, it's definitely inside or in front of some kind of estate, but yeah, just a normal dude. I can't even tell if the lattice on the gate is supposed to be some sort of pattern. Is that the right usage of the word, lattice? An entirely unremarkable gentleman, by appearance at least. How long have you been married?
It'll be 15 years this year. We have a cordial relationship, and my husband's income is more than adequate, so we live quite comfortably.
As it would appear, I need only look at you to know these things.
Oh, gosh.
Your dress is the latest style, your hat clearly regularly groomed, and your eyes are animated. In short, you have no inkling as to why your husband might have disappeared, correct?
That's right. He's a kind man with a strong sense of loyalty, and he rather dotes on me.
Which would point to the possibility that he has become embroiled in some incident or other.
Oh, that is exactly what I fear must have happened, Mr. Sholmes. I'm quite beside myself. My husband's employment is somewhat unusual, you see. What if he's incurred some miscreant's ill will?
What exactly is your husband's line of work?
He's a warder at the prison.
No way. Not the same prison right next to that graveyard. A guard? That is somewhat unusual. Also, man, just being a guard at a prison can earn you that much money and social status? Damn. So, your husband is a prison warder.
That's right, yes. Well, in actual fact, he's the chief warder.
Oh, that explains it. That makes sense. Indeed, I see. Well, chief prison warder certainly qualifies as something of a specialist occupation.
Yes, it does indeed. My poor husband must prepare those dreadful punishments and see that they're carried out.
Dreadful punishments? Does she mean capital punishment?
And at such times, he must occasionally spend a night or two in the prison dormitory.
Oh. Huh.
But for that extra responsibility, he is remunerated more handsomely than the other warders. Of course, we make no mention of my husband's work to the neighbors.
Yes, I believe your prudence is justified. Tell me, at what prison is your husband engaged?
Barclay Prison, Mr. Sholmes.
That's the one, isn't it? Really? Barclay? Oh, a fine establishment. If I'm not mistaken, there is a large cemetery just behind it. Oh my god, it is.
Yes, that's correct. Lowgate Cemetery.
No. Lowgate Cemetery? The very place we were discussing in court. That's unbelievable. Unbelievable, my dear fellow, and yet undeniable.
Sorry, Mr. Sholmes. I'm afraid you've lost me.
Pay no heed, madame, pay no heed. A private matter.
This can't really be a coincidence, can it?
So, there's a lot of potential people who would have it out for Mr. Daly. It feels like Cosima could have a motive. Oh no. I hate this. So, to the matter of your husband's disappearance. When did you realize he was missing?
Please try not to laugh. It was yesterday.
Son of a... Oh no. Oh no. Oh jeez. Oh god. Oh no. I'm sorry? Yesterday? That really is recent. Laughably so. Hey, nope. Missing peoples is no laughing matter. It's an unfortunately common myth that you need to, wait a full day or, 48 hours to contact the police and file a missing persons report, but no. You can do that whenever. And you should do it as soon as possible. Really.
The truth is, my husband does at times have occasion to spend the night away for his work. It's not at all out of the ordinary for him not to return home at night, but this is different. For him not to make any contact for a whole day, that has certainly never happened before. Oh, my dear Daly, whatever can have happened?
Okay, I wonder why he's called Daly. My dear Mrs. Vigil, please calm yourself. Now then, have you contacted the police?
Why, naturally, but sadly, they refuse to listen to my pleas as my husband has only been missing for 1 day. I was asked to wait patiently at home.
In truth, Mrs. Vigil, I concur with the police. However, let us not be hasty. I see no reason why we should not engage in my deductive powers to track your husband down anyway.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Sholmes.
And furthermore, let me assure you, a chance to solve the greatest problem known to man for another month has no bearing on my decision. I seek only to put a sweet smile on another Londoner's face. That's really all there is to it.
You're such a good liar. You have my eternal gratitude. I shall pay any sum you care to mention.
You seek only to put this sweet's rent in your landlady's purse. That's all there is to it. Thank you for everything you have shared with us, Mrs. Vigil. I believe I have all the information I need to begin my investigation.
Oh, please report to me soon with good news, sir.
Fear not, madame. In a day or two, I shall be contacting you with a heartening report, I'm quite sure.
So soon? Oh, how splendid, Mr. Sholmes.
Good news should be delivered early, I always say. If you would be so kind as to leave the photograph of your husband in my possession. Aha. No particularly distinctive facial features. Well, I think his hair's neat. Thank you. Now allow me to show you the door.
I can't thank you enough, Mr. Sholmes. You've been simply marvelous. You know, I think it every time, Hurley. But how do you come out with such nonsense? Good news in a day or two? Are you sure?
I can't be sure, of course, but then I didn't swear on it. I merely gave the good woman some hope. I hope to be able to give her good news, one might say. After all, the rent must be paid by the end of day tomorrow. If by that time I've successfully located Mr. Vigil, we shall be mutually relieved. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Naruhodo?
Don't look at me with those pleading eyes. You know, Ryunosuke should be a lot more concerned, because I'm pretty sure if Sholmes gets kicked out, he will too.
Well, my dear fellow, did you hear the details of the case?
Yes, my hearing is surprisingly good, actually.
Excellent. And what did you make of it?
Well, I was surprised to learn where her husband worked. At Barclay Prison, I mean.
Ah, so you noted that.
Of course, especially with the mention of Lowgate Cemetery. Lowgate Cemetery is at the rear of Barclay Prison, so it was renowned among us students at the university for being haunted by the ghosts of condemned convicts. Barclay Prison is where that notorious man was incarcerated. The professor.
And now a warder from the prison has mysteriously disappeared, it would seem.
It's all very peculiar.
Indeed. But nothing you can't handle, I'm quite certain, Mr. Naruhodo.
Sorry?
Run along to the prison and see what you can glean, would you? It's the prison governor you want. No doubt the man is equally worried.
But aren't you going to go yourself?
Surely you needn't ask. I can't possibly be seen out with this hair.
I bet he'd look good bald. But didn't you go to Lime Street with that hair?
That was quite a different matter. So I leave it in your capable hands. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm rather busy.
Of course you are. Any Iris to talk to? Any Sholmes to talk to? No. Away he goes. Don't think we have anything new to talk about with Strongheart yet, so to the prison. Barclay Prison is on the outskirts of London, backing onto a lonely burial ground. Its 4 high outer walls loomed quietly before us in the fog. Having requested a meeting, we were shown to the governor's office in the watchtower. Wow, that's morbid. But quite inventive, I must say. What a clock. So, okay, we got a nice plump bird and my God, that cage size is downright cruel. Hopefully it's a fake bird. Man. Whoa. Who is this huge man? This place is full of hardened criminals. I can't remember the last time a civilian was dune here. Oh no, he's Irish. Wait. Oh, so surely this all ties into the redhead plot, doesn't it? And you didn't want to talk to an inmate, but to me. What a jawline! Wow. Caden? Caden? Did I hear that name earlier? Why does Caden sound familiar? Was it something that Jigoku or Mikotoba said? Huh. Do you ken who I am? I'm the governor, Barry Caden. Huh? Oh, yes, it's a pleasure. I'm Ryunosuke Naruhodo, defense lawyer.
Oh my god, I think I get it. I think I know why he's stunned. Oh no. Oh, what if, oh. What if he thinks Ryunosuke is the professor? And an Easterner, I see. Does that mean? Yes, I'm a visiting student of law from the Empire of Japan. Oh no. Japan? Did you say Japan? Yes? Well, there's no any of your kind in here, laddie. Maybe you should try the prison next door, eh?
I didn't notice another prison next door, sir.
Anyway, we came to ask you some questions about... I didn't like to be so direct, but... I've no intention of speaking with Alexa, you suspicious-looking Easterners. Wow. Now get out of my hair. So as soon as he finds out that we're from Japan, he reacts like this. That surely means...
I think it's because of the professor case.
You think so too? 10 years ago, Genshin Nasogi, also known as the Professor, was incarcerated at this prison. And then, after his execution, he apparently re-emerged from his grave in the cemetery behind the prison. I might have known. You're sniffing around about the case, aren't you? You're agents, eh? Part of the Professor's great web, no doubt. I think I should give this guy a deeper voice. Get gone with you, before I punch your lights out. We're going! Clearly the ghost of that killer still haunts this place. We're not going to get anywhere here, unless we can somehow prove to this man that there's nothing suspicious about us.
Governor Caden.
What are you thinking, Miss Sato?
I feel sure that name came up in conversation recently somewhere. I was wondering if whoever mentioned him might have some ideas to help us.
Come to think of it, I have the same feeling. I can't even examine, but we can talk to him. Governor Caden, could I at least show you this? How many times can one man turn his back on you in a single conversation? Well, makes sense to me. I said get out! Alright. To the Gatewater Hotel. Oh, hey, there he is. Just sitting in the lobby. Hello, sir. That's Professor Mikotoba over there. Hello, you two. I was just taking a moment to catch up on the world now that I've unpacked. But where's Judge Jigoku? Yes, he's not the relaxing sort. He's taken himself off to pay his respects to all the legal bigwigs.
Having only just arrived in the country today, goodness, he is full of energy.
Professor, you mentioned something before about how you'd known the prison governor at Barclay Prison. Oh, Governor Caden, you mean? So it is the same man.
Father, we must speak with the governor. But he refused to talk to us. He said we were suspicious Easterners.
Well, I'm sure if I accompanied you, it would be a very different story. Oh, would you? That would be wonderful if you have time now. Sadly, as you can see, I'm very busy at the moment. Busy drinking coffee on a comfortable settee? Now, I have rather a lot to prepare for tomorrow, you know. Oh, sorry. I didn't say that out loud, did I? You Mikitobas are alarmingly good at reading people's thoughts.
Or could it be that you Naruhodos are alarmingly bad at hiding your thoughts?
Let's not fall out now. I have an idea. What's he writing on that piece of paper? Here's a letter of introduction for you. Hopefully, when he sees my name, he'll change his tune. Why is the top left of that kind of cut off? What does that mean? Ah, thank you. A letter of introduction has been entered in the court record. Hopefully now he'll be willing to talk to us. Good luck then. Thank you, good sir. Let's have a look. Oh, Blackbird Line. It's a boat ticket. Interesting.
Oh, it looks like this is some sort of steamship ticket. The SS Grouse, First Class Cabin 001. Yokohama departure 11th of September. London arrival 1st of November.
Ah, that's the boat that Professor Mikotoba and Judge Jigoku came on from Japan, isn't it?
Yes, I think it called at Dunkirk on the north coast of France for a night before finally arriving in Dover.
I think it's been almost a year since we arrived in Dover on the SS Burya. It seems a shame not to keep your ticket as a memento of your trip, don't you think?
Yes, I agree. I have mine safely in my diary.
And I keep mine in my wallet, so I have it with me at all times. Oh, well, how strange. Where could it have gone?
Are you like this on purpose, Mr. Naruhodo?
Did I imagine it, or was that comment accompanied by a little sigh? I have no idea how this is possible. How this could possibly be relevant, but... Professor Mikotoba has wonderful handwriting, doesn't he? This dark-suited young man is not in the least bit untrustworthy. Is it just me, or does that make me sound extremely untrustworthy?
I do wish he'd at least called you a nice young man.
I'm really not sure that would help. Huh. Okay, well... Maybe, for the sake of my sanity, maybe they just punch the tickets. You know, like on a train or an airplane or something. Or a movie theater, they punch it. What does it mean? Tally-ho. Hello, sir. Oh wait, I can examine? I said Garu. Fair enough. If you just cast your eyes over this, Governor Caden. What's this then? You cannot pull the wool over my eyes, you good-for-nothing Japanese student. Mikotoba. That young jock from the forensic laboratory. That Mikotoba. Yes, exactly, him.
Oh dear, perhaps I should have said something sooner. I'm Yujin Mikotoba's daughter, Susato.
Jings, you're the young man's daughter. And you didn't think to mention that afore.
I do apologize.
Aye, well, you'd best take a seat then. Can I offer you a cup of tea, perhaps? Wow, it's like a completely different person. And don't forget to try one of these wee handcuffs biscuits. Oh, that's adorable. Your father's influence is nothing short of amazing.
I'm bitterly regretting not announcing who I was from the outset now.
So then, what can I do for you then?
Well, we're currently investigating a case.
It's one of your warders, you see. He's gone missing. Missing?
That's right. It's surely been reported to you as well, being the prison governor.
I have never heard nothing of the sort. There's no missing persons in my prison.
Oh,
How can that be?
It's Mr. Daily Vigil, your chief warder.
Vigil? That's right. His wife came to us and asked us to investigate his disappearance. Let's skip the part about him only going missing yesterday for now. Clearly that means something to him.
Would you be so kind as to tell us what you know, sir?
Aye, of course. Alright, but first, let's have a little look-see around. I can only imagine that clock would be ridiculously noisy in real life. Like, it's going so fast. This grandfather clock is
fitted with a terrifying blade that keeps dropping down.
It's modeled on the guillotine, a French execution device. You might have heard of it. And yes, before you ask, it can chop.
Heads off, you mean?
Evers, no. Carrots and parsnips and so forth.
Oh.
If you place a large carrot at the bottom there in the morn, by evening it'll have been cut clean in two.
Evening? Well, the blade must have an almost indescribable edge on it then.
Still trying to figure out this guy's voice. He's supposed to be the previous chief wardens or whatever. Oh, governors, that's right.
I suppose these are all former governors of Barclay Prison, are they?
Either that or former inmates who the governor has sent to the gallows.
Oh dear, they all have such severe expressions I really couldn't deny either possibility.
Especially the one on the extreme right. His expression goes beyond severe into whole new territory. That one's me.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry, sir.
Is it a prerequisite of the job, perhaps? Having a severe expression, I mean? Of course it's not, although it is taken into consideration. A lot. An axe, a hunting rifle, and 4 pairs of handcuffs. That's a daunting collection. There's a story behind every one of those. You mean the rifle was a famous killer's murder weapon? And the axe was wielded by an infamous executioner? And the handcuffs were once used to immobilize a fierce 4-legged beast when it was arrested?
I think you're in the realms of fantasy now, Mr. Naruhodo.
Not those kinds of stories, Jimmy. That axe was the one I used to chop down the cherry tree at my house. Mrs. Caden wasn't the best pleased. And the cuffs on the left are the ones I caught my first burglar with back when I was a bobby.
The stories were a little different to those you imagined, I think, weren't they?
Yes, to my relief, and in some small way my disappointment. What a tidy desk. That's a very large cabinet full of papers, isn't it? It's labeled Inmate Register, look. And all the files are in alphabetical order. That's 50 years worth of records at Barclay's inmates. Whether or no they left alive after serving their term. All the details about the crimes they committed are recorded in there, like an epitaph, you might say.
A record of crimes and punishments. How dispiriting.
And yet, this man seems to be enjoying tea and biscuits as he talks about it. Stiff upper lip. That deer has been staring at me for a while now.
It has?
The poor thing can't fit through the small hole in the wall, but it can't get its head back out again now either. It's giving me a woefully imploring look.
It's not real, Mr. Naruhodo. It's stuffed.
What? I mean, yes, of course it is. For a moment I thought it was another assassin sneaking in via the ventilator. What do you mean another? Wait.
I don't like to say, but I think perhaps you need to reread The Adventures of Sherlock Sholmes.
Oh, right, on the Burya. Right. That kind of ventilator assassin. Not a cat, though. I never have expected to find a parrot in a prison. It must be the governor's pet. Some kind of parrot. Looks like a south bird from One Piece.
Given where we are, it's hard not to see the poor creature as a prisoner. Let me out! Didn't kill me! Ah!
Has the bird learned to mimic the plaintive cries of the inmates in the cells? Oh, no. He was one of 3 siblings, you see. And he still calls out the names of his 2 brothers like that all the time. Right.
Let me out! Didn't kill me!
That's my bird impression. Aye, I hear you, laddie. You want your dinner, eh? Didn't it do it? You realize what this means, right? So long as there exists a parrot that can mimic human speech, there is a non-zero chance that we will be calling this thing into the witness stand. They wouldn't do it twice, would they? I don't know. What's that there, then? It's actually a sign of a Japanese defense lawyer. Well, if you have to wear something like that to prove who you are, perhaps I should wear these handcuffs, eh?
I think maybe they're more of a sign of the people you catch than you yourself.
Aye, that's true. You've got me there, Hen.
They're not actually a sign of anything, are they?
How about the photo of Mr. Vigil?
Governor Caden, would you have a look at this?
Oh, wouldn't you rather have a wee handcuff biscuit?
Oh, no thanks. I'd rather you just cast your eyes over this.
Or maybe you prefer real handcuffs, eh?
No, neither for me, please. Lovely offers, though.
Nothing about that. And we already showed you this, but... Well, how about that? A friend of Mikotoba turning up after all these years. And his wee bairn, even.
My father speaks highly of you, sir.
Dear Ken, I can see the resemblance now.
Oh.
Aye, especially around your eyes. You look dead like him. Dead like him, right.
What an interesting observation. Not the delighted reaction from Susato-san that he might have been expecting.
Yeah, telling a young woman that she looks just like her father is a bit odd. Well, we have 6 minutes left to burn until an hour passes, but I don't want to start all this. We'll probably have time.
We understand that Mr. Vigil is the chief warder here at the prison.
Aye, that he was. Strong sense of responsibility and dedicated to the job, no doubt about it. He was a fine warder.
Sorry, did you say was?
Aye, he doesn't work here anymore. He left the job.
Oh my! When was this exactly?
There's a question. When was it about? It can I happen much less than 10 years ago now.
Oh, that is... Oh, wow.
So not only has Daly been lying to his wife about their source of income for that long, not only has he been actually getting that level of income for that long through dubious means, but 10 years ago was the age of the professor. And by age, I mean like the era, not like physical, birth age, whatever.
What? 10 years ago? He stopped working here 10 years ago?
Aye, as I mind it. Dear Ken, I haven't heard this fellow's name in all that time. That's a worry if he's gone missing, though.
But Mrs. Vigil made no mention of it. I think perhaps, Mr. Naruhodo, that his wife simply doesn't know. I think she's unaware that he no longer works here.
Governor Caden, can you tell us what happened? Why did Mr. Vigil give up his job here? That's important, is it?
Yes, I believe it may be. What are you thinking, Mr. Naruhodo?
I can't help wondering, given that it was 10 years ago.
Oh!
Which was exactly when the professor was being held at this prison.
So, Mr. Vigil actually resigned from the position of Chief Warder 10 years ago, you're telling us? What happened to make him leave the job?
In actual fact, he didn't leave the job willingly. He had no choice in the matter.
You mean he was dismissed?
It was after a particular walk.
Sorry, a walk?
Aye, that's our word for it in here. A walk to the gallows.
An execution?
It's the job of the chief warder to prepare the gallows tree and oversee any executions, you see. Only Vigil did something unthinkable on that last walk he was manning.
What did he do?
I'm sorry, but I can't reveal that information. But I can tell you that it's very rare for a chief warder to be relieved of his post.
But why would Mrs. Vigil know about it? She appears to be under the impression that her husband still works here.
I wouldn't have cared anything about that, I'm afraid.
Can you perhaps answer one more question about the circumstances of his dismissal?
And what would that be, Anne?
That last execution that Mr. Vigil was responsible for overseeing. Was it by any chance the professor's?
My thoughts exactly. I'm sorry, I really am, but I'm no at liberty to answer that.
I see.
One more, maybe.
My father came to Britain all those years ago in order to study forensic medicine. But you seem to have been well acquainted.
The dead room, the prison, and the cemetery have a lot to do with one another. After all, they need fresh corpses for forensic research. Do you ken?
Yes, I can imagine. The advancement of forensic medical science isn't always particularly palatable.
Your father worked in the laboratory just on the far side of the graveyard, in the basement of St. Sinners. It's still in use today.
St. Sinners? That's come up before, I'm sure. Yes, that's right. We've been there.
Mikotoba and I often used to ride in the carriage together and negotiate terms.
For more fresh material, I suppose.
We used to sit in here for hours and gab on about dissection and all sorts. Ugh, takes me back. Over a pot of tea and a plate of cuff biscuits, of course.
How charming.
He was a good fella, your father, reliable and dead set on his work. But I'm afraid I'll never understand you Japanese.
Because of Genshin Asogi, I suppose.
Well, can I tell you anything else?
Thank you so much for your time, Governor.
Oh, one moment before you're away, Hen. I'm sure I have it here somewhere. Ah, found it. Here, take this as a wee souvenir of your visit to the prison.
What is it?
That's Vigil's dismissal notice. It's 10 years old now, of course.
Oh my, are you sure?
Aye, it's no trouble at all. It's no the original, mind. Just a copy.
Thank you very much, Governor Caden.
Well, in return, do me a favor and never come back here. That case is closed. We're gonna have to break that favor.
Well, I think we ought to return to Baker Street for the time being.
Yes, I agree. We need to report back to Mr. Sholmes with what we found out about Mr. Vigil.
What will they tell Mrs. Vigil, I wonder?
That's gonna be interesting. So let's take a look here.
On the 25th of June. When was the exact date of the Professor shenanigans going down?
Chief Warder Daily Vigil is relieved of his post with immediate effect for having violated Clause 132 of Her Majesty's Code of Conduct for Prisons. All rights to redundancy pay and other financial benefits are fully revoked. Aiding and abetting the escape from the prison of convict redacted just prior to his execution.
What the hell?
Details of this escape are still being investigated. Full cooperation with inquiries will be expected. Barry Caden. Indications are that the jailbreak plot was conceived prior to the convict's incarceration. The frick? It's believed that the convict engaged in some form of negotiation with prison staff in order to secure assistance. Full disclosure of information regarding these negotiations will be demanded.
Wow.
I don't think it's the Professor. It was some other killer who got free. Well, maybe not even a killer, but, well, okay, what else would you be executing them for?
That's interesting.
Well, I've certainly been given a lot to think over. Well, anyway, God, you would think I've done a full, complete, like 100% playthrough of Dragon Quest XI twice over, listening to all the voice acting both times, and you think for how much I've heard Rab speak, who's like my second favorite party member, who has a very thick Scottish accent, I would be able to like emulate it more, but accents are hard. I'm the type of person who never ever does accents, like for any reason. Mostly because it doesn't feel right. Like I guess there's no harm in it, but at the same time it feels like I'm kind of mocking them. Mocking another language or native speakers of another language, because it's like my horrible attempts in any way would be horrible. I mean, like I did Russian in impressions way earlier in the SS Burya case, but that was because I actually felt like I was doing a kind of okay job, maybe. But Irish or Scottish or Gaelic, I really should look up the difference between those three. Yeah, I don't know. Definitely not. And certainly not French either, for that matter. Alas, I am only American. I can't help it. Anyway, oh man, right, so I definitely feel like poor Daly's been murdered. Because there's gotta be a murder somewhere in Ace Attorney. Every case, no exceptions, there is a murder. And Daly, for being how plain he is looking, he gives off huge, dead body vibes. Like, he looks less interesting than the likes of, say, Turner Gray or some other victim who existed solely to be a dead person. You know what I mean. You look generic. Either you don't matter or you're just there to be a corpse. That's what I have to say about that. Anyway, I'm Zephyr the Jester. This has been more of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Thank you for watching. Hopefully I'll catch you next time. So until then, please take care.